Okay, Mark, tell us about your experience with Bay Area laser therapy and the VIVAZ lipolite treatment you just received.
Well, it worked really well. I was able to lose 2 inches off my waist and 2 inches off my abdomen.
Wow.
And, you know, I saw lines in my stomach that I hadn't seen in a while. So, yeah, I have to say it was a really good experience, and it was relaxing, and it was like putting a hot towel on your back, you know, to a certain extent. So.
Wow, just in one visit. That's amazing. And what would you tell others about coming over to Bay Area Laser Therapy and trying this new VIVAZ lipolite therapy?
I'd say come and do it. It really works, and you know, like I said, I lost 4 inches, and I really enjoyed it, and it was relaxing.
I agree.
So what are we going to do tonight? We're going to train you to understand what is neuropathy. How is it affecting you? Why is it affecting you? You know, like you're here, but other people aren't. They don't have it. What's the difference? What's going on? We're going to teach you that. And the other thing is for you to share this with others who could benefit from it as well. Do you guys know anyone else who has neuropathy?
I do.
Yeah, most people do. Right? If they have it, they know somebody else, some other person, some other, right? So what is neuropathy? Neuropathy is just a general medical term that means neuropathy problem. That's all it means, nerve problem. Right. Yay! Aren't you glad they told you have a nerve problem? That's what they did by telling you you have neuropathy. They said, you've got a nerve problem. And you're like, I could have told them that, right? So we're going to go in, and my recommendation, my strong urgent today is to share this with people who you know, right, that also have neuropathy, because they're not here tonight for whatever reason. And hopefully you'll see by the end how, wow, this is actually something that's going to make a difference. It's not just going to poison me for the rest of my life, and hopefully manage some of the pain until I finally, you know, go to someplace better.
All right, I'm here with Lois. How come you decided to come to see Dr. Blackwood at Dakota Healing Arts?
Well, because I was tired of having pain in my feet.
Okay.
For years I had pain in my feet.
And you tried other things?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I saw 4 different podiatrists, and all I ever got was inserts, and they didn't do anything for my pain.
Okay, and you've been coming here now for about a month, or?
Yeah, about that.
Maybe just under a month? How long did it take before you noticed improvements with your feet?
I would say by the 2nd week I was starting to notice the difference already. Yeah.
And what kind of things are you doing now that you couldn't do before?
I can walk. I can walk a lot better, you know, without a whole lot of pain. Actually, I'm not having any pain now when I walk, so that's
awesome.
Good. Yes, it is.
So would you recommend Dr. Blackwood to friends or family members?
Oh, I certainly would.
So, what is that? You guys I heard some people making comments. It feels like pins in your feet. It feels like your feet are on fire. Right? It feels like little ants are crawling all around your feet, you know, various different times, various different places. And that's what almost everybody with neuropathy talks about. Now, you can also have neuropathy in your hands. Anybody here have it in your hands? No? Right? Some people get it in their hands. Most people get it in their feet.
I got it in my hands, too.
A little bit in the hands, yep. And usually what the official diagnosis they say is peripheral neuropathy. Right? Have you heard that before? You know what peripheral means? Distant on the body. That's all it means. It's just a big fancy medical term for away from the center of the body, meaning hands and feet away from nerve problem. Okay, great. They really didn't tell you anything you didn't already know.
How come you decided to come to Dakota Healing Arts?
Well, I have this problem with cold feet and cold hands, and I've seen a neurosurgeon, neurologist, and they diagnosed me with peripheral neuropathy, and so then they put me on some medication, and it actually messed up my whole body, my whole system. I was tired and couldn't hardly get out of bed, and I was foggy and dizzy, and I gained weight, and then I happened to see this ad in the Bismarck Tribune with this cold laser, so I quit my medication and I came here to get checked out, and and we started treatments of the spine and the cold laser.
Okay, what kind of changes have you noticed since coming to see Dr. Blackwood?
Well, since I've been coming here, I suppose about 4 weeks now, and I don't have to sleep with socks on every night. My feet periodically get cold, but it's much improved. And I went on a detox program, and I've noticed significant changes in my body since then. I've already lost 12 pounds.
Awesome.
So I'm making progress every day.
All right. What would you tell somebody that was considering coming to see Dr. Blackwood?
I would highly recommend it.
So hopefully we can go shed some light on that today. Now, 15 to 20 million Americans are estimated to have neuropathy. 15 to 20 million. That's a lot. Right? That is a lot of people, and that means that generally speaking, one out of every 20 people has it. Right? So you're not special? No, you're not special, right? And generally, now, let me ask you this question. How many of you have gone to the doctor, like you've maybe even a bunch of times, and the doctor has finally just said to you, you know what, don't come back, there's nothing we can do?
Right, I did. I had it. You're my last school the other day, told me that.
You know, and that's the thing, is that with neuropathy, there is no real treatment options. And you'll see why today, why part of that problem with that is, and why we can actually offer you something when a lot of other people can't. That other number there, I love that one. 11 billion. That's enough zeros for a billion, right? $11 billion is spent annually trying to manage the symptoms of neuropathy in America. That's over $6,000 a year per person in America. Whether that's through its insurance, cash out of your pocket, you know, whatever it is, over $6,000 a year is what people spend trying to deal with their symptoms of neuropathy. And 27% of the people with diabetes have it. That's 1 in 4. Anybody here also have diabetes? Only one? All right. 1 out of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Close.
My name is Antoinette, and I've been seeing Dr. Collingen for 2 months now. I came in because of neuropathy from my chemo treatments, and my feet and hands have improved greatly. I'm very pleased with the service I received, and I suggest that anybody with this problem try it out.
Thank you. And what are some of the things you could do now? Like, you know, before, you know, you can. How much longer are you going for walks now than you were before?
Well, I can walk a little bit longer. I'm still having problems, but that's other issues.
Right. Okay. But you went from walking only 10 minutes at a time to now over 30 minutes, right?
Well, yes, I can walk about 12.
Well, that's great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Antoinette.
So what causes neuropathy now? Neuropathy, remember, just means what? Nerve pathology, nerve problem. So what can cause a nerve problem? Do you think one thing or a lot of things? A lot of things, right? And that's what I'm going to go through as part of today. And here's why there's no real treatment options. Is it's like saying that, oh, you know what? People get flat tires, so I'm going to invent something that, you know, can get rid of flat tires. But how many different things can cause flat tires? A lot, right? You can't really do something when there's many different causes for the same problem to treat everybody. Okay? And that's what you're going to see tonight, is that what it's about understanding there's a lot, each one of you has different various reasons why you have the neuropathy, and we'll go through a lot of them and show you what they are, and then we'll show you how we actually then deal with a lot of those reasons as well. So first one being toxins. Any one of you here ever exposed to Agent Orange before? If you're in the military, you probably were. They've been using it since World War II. All right? Agent Orange. It's one of the most common toxins that cause nerve damage. If you haven't, don't worry. We got a bunch more. Right? But toxins in our environment. Anybody here ever have chemo before? All right? Chemo is a number. Right? Is a big reason why, because it's like, you know, whether or not, you know, it gets rid of the cancer, cures the cancer, great, it's a toxin. That's the bottom line, right? It may help save people's lives, but it still is a toxin. One of the side effects of putting a poison in the body is it damages the nerve cells.
I think I was told.
Yeah, they told you that before, that you might have that happen?
I know I was told that by the nurse or else the doctor.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Yep, that's another big common cause of it. Anybody here ever take statin medications for cholesterol? Cholesterol meds? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Cholesterol medications are another big, huge cause of neuropathy. Now, again, Well, I'm not going to make comments tonight on whether or not they deal with your cholesterol, but I will make a comment on there is a known side effect of neuropathy. Why? Because it's a drug that has side effects. Right? Anytime you put a chemical into the body, it's going to have side effects. Right? It's just what happens. Now, does it happen from everybody who takes cholesterol meds? No. Does it happen to people who take cholesterol meds, though? Yes, it does. Enough so that you'll see that as a side effect listed in the warning label if you read it.
Okay, we're here with Bruce. You came to see Dr. Blackwood at Dakota Healing Arts. What brought you in?
My feet were burning, and it was like I was walking on pebbles, and it was not good. And I did not feel good. Just felt tired all the time, and just felt kind of like at my wit's end what to do next.
Okay, and your blood sugar was not good
My blood
either?
sugar was 185 when I came in, and this is about 3 weeks into my the process here, and my blood sugar this morning was 85, so I lost 100 points.
Outstanding. Okay, and you've lost some weight?
I've lost 14 pounds in 3 weeks. So that's amazing for me, because it's not that hard to be on the program.
Great. And how's your overall pain level?
Pain level is way down on my feet. I feel so much better. I feel 100% better. I feel, like when I want to go out and mow my grass, I can mow my grass now. If I want to cut some trees, I can cut trees.
Wow.
Whereas 3 weeks ago, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. I didn't know how I was going to mow my grass, so I thought I would have to hire it done.
Right. Okay, so what would you tell somebody who was considering seeing Dr. Blackwood, or maybe a little skeptical?
Do it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I read the ad in the paper, and I thought, I've never heard of this guy before, but I tell you what, it is amazing what it's done for me.
See what else causes neuropathy? Kidney disease can cause it. All right. Anybody here with kidney disease? Nope, not today. Hormone imbalances. Anybody here have hormone imbalances they know about? Right? Hormone imbalance is another big one that can cause it. Right? Hyperthyroidism. Anybody have hyper? Usually most people have hypo. One person with hyper. Right? Hyperthyroidism, which means your thyroid gland is acting up, which usually means you're really skinny, which usually also then affects, which you'll see here in a moment, the nerves and how they carry pain signals in our body. Cushing syndrome is just another adrenal-related, kidney-related problem. Anyone here have that? No? Adrenal cortisol, alcoholism. Nobody wants to raise their hand on that one, but I will. Right? It does, doesn't it? Right? One of the side effects, though, is, again, the reason why we have that effect from alcohol is because it's a poison that our body in the liver cleans out of our system. Right? But it causes nerve problems.
All right, I'm here with Leonard, and Leonard came to Dakota Healing Arts a few days ago and got his first neuropathy treatment. And later that night, Leonard, tell me what happened with your eyes. You said you were playing cards?
That was last night. I was playing cards on the computer, and I could read the cards with both eyes on the computer. Before, I'd have to cover my left eye with a patch.
Oh, right.
And so that I could read it.
Okay, and that's still good today?
Last night I noticed this. I didn't have the patch on, and I could see those cards plainly.
Okay, and then you came in because your feet were so painful.
At first, when I first came in here, my feet were painful.
Right.
And I left here that day. I noticed that there wasn't the pain in the feet, but my feet were numb a little bit, tingling a little bit, but no pain to speak of. I walked this morning in a store from one end to the other when I usually use a electric cart.
Right. So you had more strength?
More.
Or just because of the pain was less, you were able to walk?
No pain.
Okay.
See?
Outstanding, and that's just after one treatment.
One treatment.
Great.
What else causes it? Thiamine or B1 deficiencies? Anybody eat 4 servings of vegetables every day? Right? Every once in a while somebody does, but for the most part, most of us don't eat enough vegetables. That's where we get our vitamins. That's where we get our minerals from. Right? High blood pressure, another cause of it. All right? Everybody's starting to see I'm raising my hand on a few of these. Right? At least 1 or 2 of them. Right? Cigarettes, ever first-hand smoke, second-hand smoke, right? Causes the body to go through that. Immune diseases, right? Anything you do that lowers your immune system. If you get colds frequently, flus frequently, any sort of, infections frequently, right? That means your immune system is being lowered, which can lead to it as well. Shots, yeah, good. Right? And overall, B12. Overall generalized degenerative lifestyle. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one because this is where almost everybody fits into this category right here in America. And what do I mean by a generalized lifestyle? I'm going to get to in a moment. And the last one being drugs. Now, when I put drugs up there, how many people would raise their hand and say, I take drugs? Yeah.
Medication.
Same thing.
Right.
They used to call it what? Osco drug, right? But then drugs got a bad name because those were the illegal kinds. So now they're medications. They're still drugs.
It's a drug dealer.
Right? They cause neuropathy, right? One of my favorite things about it is this, is that if you went to the home of every single person who was dying, right? Every single one. And in every single home, you saw the exact same thing happening to that person who was dying, without exception. You went to every home of every person who was dying, and you saw the exact same thing happening in every one of those homes. Wouldn't you begin to think that's what was killing them? Guess what every one of those people who's dying has in common? Everyone. They're taking tons and tons of medications and pills. Interesting. I'm not saying they're not helpful, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Keeps you alive.
Right?
Hi, my name is Bill Bruder. I've been seeing Dr. Kogan for about 3 months. And primarily we came in because I had foot neuropathy from chemo. And I've experienced in a very short time about 75% improvement in the feelings in my feet. And I would highly recommend anybody that has a similar problem to come and see the doctor.
So what are some common symptoms of neuropathy, right? Mild loss of sensation. Anyone have that? Can't feel your feet as well?
I did, yeah.
Yep. Right. Tingling. Anybody have the tingling sensations?
Yeah.
Yep. Numbness in your feet.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you used to sit on your leg and then, remember when you could do that? And then it'd be like, falls asleep. What else we got? Waking up at night. Anybody, pain causes them to wake up at night, can't get a good night's sleep? When you can't get a good night's sleep, what happens? Yeah, you drag the next day, you don't have enough energy, right? Sleep during. Some of us have that luxury, some of us don't, right? Uncomfortable sleep, even if it doesn't necessarily wake you up, it makes it uncomfortable trying to fall asleep, right? Shooting pains every time you step, right? Some people now we use walkers, canes, right? Chairs that go around on little wheels, cold feet, hands.
Like your toes. My toes.
Yep. You always have to wear socks no matter how warm it is outside. Yeah. Dryness, cracking, fragility. Right? These are all things of what neuropathy is, the symptoms we have. Now, here's the little key catcher on the next screen, which I've kind of alluded to here in a moment, is that really here's what neuropathy is. Nerve problem means what it is if they can't figure out or put any other diagnosis on it, this is the blanket diagnosis they use if they can't figure anything else out. Right? And that's why there's so many different causes. There's so many different things that can contribute to it. And that's why they have no options to treat it, because they don't look at the individual. They look at you as a label called neuropathy and go, we can't treat neuropathy. Well, why do you have these particular symptoms right here? Did the doctor ever ask that question? No, the doctor said, you've got neuropathy, how do we treat it? Well, what we do, one of the things we do different is we look at it and we go, okay, why do you have these symptoms? What's going on in your body? What's happening that allows those symptoms to be there? Because neuropathy isn't a thing. It's a what? It's a leftover diagnosis that they give you when they don't have anything else. Right? High blood pressure is a thing. What is it? It's your blood pressure being too high. You don't diagnose it by you can't figure out what else is wrong, so it's called high blood pressure. They diagnose it because why? Because your blood pressure's high. Right? Neuropathy, they don't do that. Neuropathy is the leftover diagnosis when they can't figure anything else out, which means that it can be a smorgasbord of things causing it, and you have to look at what's going on to cause it in the particular person so you can actually help heal the symptoms of it. So, It's making it a blanket diagnosis, like I just said. Let's look at the similarities of neuropathy. Right? Here's the two biggest similarities. Number one, lack of oxygen. Right? For most people, the reason why they have all these symptoms is because for whatever is causing it, their body has a lack of oxygen in the nerves and the blood vessels in the area where they have the neuropathy. Anybody ever been told that before? Not enough oxygen? Right? A couple, 1, 2 people here have. Right? That's what 90% of the people, the end result is. Whether it's toxins from Agent Orange, chemo, drugs, whether it's deficiencies in vitamins, no matter what it is, for 90% of the people, the end result is that's causing a lack of oxygen in the area, which causes their body to start atrophy, and we'll go into that a little bit later as well. Now, 10% being the other. So let's talk about this lack of oxygen. Here's what happens. Oxygen, do you think you need that to live? Yeah. Do you think your cells need it to live? Right? Every cell in your body, just like you, needs oxygen to live and to thrive. Right? So when you have a lack of oxygen, what happens is these little nerve cells, right, that are going in your feet and your hands, they're the most susceptible. Why? If you didn't have your hands and your feet, could you still live? You could. Wouldn't be very enjoyable. Wouldn't maybe be easy. If you didn't have your heart, could you still live? No. So what your body does is it says, okay, well, your heart needs oxygen first. Your brain needs oxygen too. So let's give all the oxygen that the brain and the heart need first, and the leftover stuff we'll distribute elsewhere that isn't quite as important. Does that make sense? That's how the body does it. It's like it rations out the oxygen. The brain, the organs, they get all the oxygen they need first because they're most important. And then the things like your hands and your feet, which are least important, get the leftover oxygen. And that's kind of what happens. So now what happens is in your hands and your feet, that's how most people get neuropathy in their hands and their feet first, is those cells, when there's no oxygen, they start to atrophy, which just means the cells start to shrink. The cells start to die because they don't have enough oxygen. Right? As those cells start to die, what happens is your nerves don't actually touch. There's a little chemical that goes between two different nerves in your body and then carries a signal to the end of that nerve, and then there's another gap, right? And then you get more chemicals. So the nerves don't actually touch. So if the nerves start to shrink and die, what happens to the amount of space in between those nerves? Starts getting bigger. When that space is bigger, those little nerve chemicals can't quite get across that gap. That's when you start having all those symptoms of all those nerve problems that you experience. Because those gaps, those spans start to change. And what that means is that the electrical potential, that communication that goes across the cell, the communication doesn't go across the cell right because the gap is too big, because the oxygen is causing those cells to contract because they don't have enough. That's what's happening to most people. That's what's going on. That's why their body is having all those symptoms and feeling the way it does.
And one is, tell us about your experience with Bay laser therapy regarding the Vivaz Lipolite.
Fantastic results. I have some handicaps which don't allow me to exercise fully, and I needed help to lose fat. And I lost not only fat but inches. Tremendous results, and I feel great.
And that's awesome. And I think you only had 9 visits. How many inches did you lose?
I wrote down, total of 4 inches around my waist and 5 inches around my abdomen.
That's incredible. That's just great.
That was my main target area anyway, was the waist and stomach.
And what would you tell others thinking of coming to Bay Area Laser Therapy for the Vivaz Lipolite?
It really works, and it's very easy. You just lay down and let the paddles do their work. You can relax and lose weight at the same time.
So, the other 10%, right? What's the other 10%? That's all those other things we talked about, right? Drugs, chemo, high blood pressure, physical trauma, poisons, toxins, heart problems, right? All these things can contribute to that other 10%. But even if you have some of these, it's usually not a one cause. How many of you raised your hand more than once? Right? It's usually not a one thing for most people. It's a combination. And that's what this slide is right here. Oh, sorry, next one. Right? And then the last one of the 10% is diabetes. What happens with diabetes is the glucose or insulin decreases the fluid, The minerals leave, and what happens? The same thing. Lack of oxygen, because the minerals are leaving, can't bring the oxygen across the cell. Nerves start to shrink. You still see the exact same problems. That's why 1 out of 4 people who has diabetes also has neuropathy. Right? Because the insulin is what is a big concerning factor in how those nerve cells are actually working and absorbing the oxygen.
Please tell us about your experience with the VIVAZ Lipolite that you had at Bay Area Laser Therapy.
Oh, you know, it was great. I came in somewhat skeptical, and I felt like there was, you know, incredible results.
Tell us about your results. What'd you get?
I lost 7 inches total. Let me see. I lost 2 inches on my waist, and that was just today, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, 2 today, and then 2 on my abs. 3 on, yeah, so 7 total inches. And my fat was kind of hanging over my pants, and now it's not.
Okay.
Like it was, like the muffin top.
Right. Well, that's great.
Disappearing.
What would you tell others thinking of coming to Bay Area Laser Therapy?
I think it would be a great idea. To do, it makes you feel better. Spring is coming. You want to look good. I think you get good results quickly. So
now, this is how I'm going to sum up the entire real problem. Right? This will sum up every single one of you of why you have neuropathy, of why it's been going the direction it's going, and why it's only going to continue going the same direction if you continue doing the same thing. This is my favorite little thing. This is what I call my wellness disease scale. Right? What happens is your body wants to heal. If you cut your finger, what happens? It bleeds. And after it's done bleeding, what does it do? Heals up. Do you have to put creams on it for it to heal up? No. Do you have to do magical things to it? Do you have to take special medications? No. When you cut your finger, what happens? It heals, right? That's what happens. That's what the body does. If you get a flat tire, does your car automatically fix the flat tire?
Yes, no.
No, it doesn't, right? And when your car breaks down, you have to get somebody to fix it. When your body breaks down, it naturally tries and wants to fix itself. But the problem is we get in the way. Right? We don't let it. If we cut our finger and we keep picking open that cut, every time it starts to, crust over with the scab, and we keep picking it apart, is it ever going to heal shut? No. And would we do that? No, that would be silly, right? Some of you are thinking ahead going, well, wait a second. When you have other problems in your body that haven't healed, it's because why? Because we're picking open that little scab, but we don't see it. It's not a direct causal relationship, so we keep picking open that scab in other ways. And here's what I mean. Your body naturally wants to be well. Why do some people live to be 120 years old and some people die at 40? Bad luck? They piss off God? Right? Why is it? What's the difference? Here, I'll explain the difference. Your body wants to be well. It wants to heal. It wants to be fully functioning your entire life. That's what it wants. If it didn't, every time you cut your finger, you'd have to do something to make it heal. Right? Makes sense? Everybody with me? So here's what happens. We have a thing called life. Right? Anybody here ever eat sugar? Yep. Which direction does that move you? Towards wellness or towards disease? Towards disease, right? Little arrow that moves us down towards disease. Now, anybody here ever have caffeine? Which direction does it move you? Down, right? Anybody here ever drink alcohol? Which direction does it move you? Right? Anybody here ever drink anything other than purified water? Gatorade, sodas, teas, coffees, right? Which direction do those move you? Right? Anybody here ever have foods they shouldn't eat? Twinkies, Ho-Hos, Doritos? Right? Which direction does that move you? Right? So, let's see here. What do we have happening? Right? Anybody here ever have stress? Right? What direction does that move you? Right? Right? Now notice, there's different size arrows around the disease. Right? Because different things are going to affect different people differently. That's why George Burns can smoke till he's 90, never gets lung cancer. Why? Because smoking for him was just a tiny little arrow. Right? Because we all have a different genetic potential, But we still, how we deal with that, it makes the biggest difference. So we have all this stuff that we do in our life, whether it's toxins in our food or our environment that we breathe, or water and fluids that we drink, or whatever it is that we do. How many people don't exercise as much as they know they should? What direction does that bring you? All right? All right, so there's all these things we're doing moving down towards disease that cause our body to break down. Right? And a lot of us, we blame it on what? On old age, right? It's old age, right? It's not my fault. It's not the choices I'm making. It's because I'm getting old. Right? Anyone say that before? But it's not old age. Why do some people live to be 120? There's an issue of National Geographic magazine, January 1976, where they did a write-up of 8 cultures around the world that lived to be an average of 120 to 140 years old. 120 to 140. Now, of all those things we just went through, guess how many they did? None, really. Some of them did alcohol, right? But that was really about the only thing. And they live to be 120 to 140 years old on average. That's the genetic potential of what we have. When what happened is that they got permission to do autopsies on some of the people after they passed away. And what they found was that these people go around saying their goodbyes. They'd go to sleep at night and never wake up. They do an autopsy. You know what they died from? You know what they found as the cause of death? Nothing. They couldn't find anything wrong. People lived a full, happy life, moved on to the next phase. That's all that happened. Now, one of my 2 favorite questions, they asked the guy, they said, he was 110 years old. They said, why don't you serve on the elderly council? You know what the guy said? Yep, I'm not old enough. Right? Another guy, he was 108 years old. They asked him, they said, how often do you have sex? Well, you want to guess what he said? He said, not as often as I used to. Only about once a day. 108! Right? That's what it's like to be the genetic potential of a human being. But because of our lifestyle in the Western world, we have all this stuff pushing us down towards disease. So what do you do to be healthy? Some of us drink water. Okay, we'll put an arrow up towards wellness. Yeah. What else do you do? Some of us exercise. Okay, we'll give you another arrow. Do you? Right? Some of us eat better, right? But here's the problem. If we spent a bunch of time mapping out everything you do in your life, whether it moved you towards wellness or disease, and a big arrow or a small arrow for the amount it moved you, what would be the net effect, do you think? What would be the direction you'd have the abundance of arrows? Down towards disease, right? Right? That's what's happening. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying you need to change your lifestyle. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is, here's what happens. All those things that I went through in those first 2 screens, toxins and chemo and medications and drugs and all these things that can cause neuropathy just by themselves, all move us down towards disease. Right? Your weak link in that chain, your weak link in your genetic potential happens to be the neuropathy, the nerve problems. That's why other people who have the same exact thing going on, their weak link in their chain might be heart disease, or their weak link might be cancer, or their weak link might be whatever. Everybody's genetic potential is different, but it all shows up in the same way. We do more to move our body towards disease, and it can't keep up. You know, it's an amazing machine, but it can't do everything. All we have to do is we don't have to give up any one thing that moves us towards disease, and we don't have to do any one thing that moves us towards wellness. What do we have to do? We have to tip that scale, though. Right? If you want your body to heal, we got to get it to tip in that direction of moving towards wellness. That's all. Right? We don't have to get rid of everything. We don't have to change everything. We just have to tip it in that direction. If you tip it in that direction every day of your life for the rest of your life, what's going to happen when you're 100? Right? Exactly. You'll be just as healthy and functioning as when you started to tip that scale. Right? This is the real problem. This is what's going on. And this is the root cause of every problem in America. Everything. I could explain it to you with this. Let me look at their life, get enough time, look at what's going on, look at the genetic potential, right? And here's what it is. That's why we've known about the genes for, 53 years now, and they still don't have really a single cure for really any genetic diseases. Why? Because your genes are only the potential. Right? What happens to how the genes get expressed It depends on your choices you make. That's why two identical twins, right? They're identical genetic potential. Do they have the exact same problems and health? No, they're going to be different. Why? Because it's the choices that we make that affect that genetic potential. Right? Now that's our big arrow. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this big, huge arrow to push you up towards wellness so that you don't have to do as much to tip that scale. Right? That's the beauty of technology these days, and we'll talk about what some of that
Okay,
is.
Mark, tell us about your experience with Bay Area Laser Therapy and the VIVAS LipoLite treatment you just received.
Well, it worked really well. I was able to lose 2 inches off my waist and 2 inches off my abdomen.
Wow.
And, you know, I saw lines in my stomach that I hadn't seen in a while. So, yeah, I have to say it was a really good experience, and it was relaxing, and it was like putting a hot towel on your back, you know, to a certain extent. So.
Wow, just in one visit. That's amazing. And what would you tell others about coming over to Bay Area Laser Therapy and trying this new VIVAS LipoLite therapy?
I'd say come and do it. It really works, and you know, like I said, I lost 4 inches, and I really enjoyed it, and it was relaxing.
I agree.
So.
What is the treatment? Now let me say this. The treatment is going to be very controversial. No, it's not really. It's simply tipping that scale. But here's the thing. Why don't doctors do it? Why don't, other people tell you about this? Why doesn't, why? Because there's no code to bill insurance for it. That's why. Right? Right? There's no drug we can prescribe to you that you go to the pharmacy and pick up that'll get rid of it. Right? Because it literally is about shifting some things in the body, shifting some things in your life to get that scale to tip. That's what we're going to teach you how to do. Now, here's the beauty. The last part about it is, though, there's no side effects. 0 known side effects. Okay, I lied. There are some side effects. You might start having more energy. You might start sleeping better. You might start feeling better. Right? You might start not having to use the cane or the walker as much, or start being able to use it again. I'm sorry, those are the side effects. Right? Now I'm a little bit being facetious when I say that, but but no known negative side effects of the program I'm about to share with you today. Right? It's very cost effective, meaning how much money have you spent so far treating your problem?
Well, most of it's been through insurance, so you don't really know.
But you still have co-pays, deductibles, don't you? Oh, congratulations. Most people do. Right? I can tell you how much the average person spends, whether it's through insurance or out of their pocket, over $6,000 a year. That's what the average person spends. Right? And the last one is it produces results. Right? So the bottom line is that if you're willing to do what we recommend, we can help you. That's it. Right? For people so far, and I'm not saying we won't be proved wrong, but I'm going to make this big, bold claim right now. For the people who have done everything we've recommended, we have never not gotten great results with them. Doesn't mean it won't happen someday. Right? But let me say that again. For the people who have done everything we recommend, we have never not gotten great results. Meaning we've always gotten great results with everyone who followed our program. Right? The people who decided, oh, I'm going to not do that part, or I'm not going to do this part. Sometimes they get good results. Right? But sometimes they don't. Right? It's not as consistent.
Tell us about your experience at Colgan Chiropractic and Bay Area Laser Therapy.
Oh, my experience at Dr. Colgan's lipo laser treatment was really good, because my goal coming in here was to lose some inches in my waistline and also my belly, because during the holidays I gained a lot. I didn't exercise much, and then I wanted to jumpstart. I ate a lot, of course, but I wanted to jumpstart like losing those inches, especially the summer is coming up, or it's spring. You have to wear all those nice clothes, and you want it not showing your belly, and it did jumpstart what I wanted to do.
And tell us about your results. What did you get after just a couple of visits?
Yes, a couple of visits alone. From 28 waistline, it went down to 26.
Wow.
And then from 35 on the belly, it went down to 33 inches.
That's awesome. That is just great to hear.
And for 2 visits.
Oh, wow. Is that something? Just in 2 visits?
It's really amazing. Yeah.
And what would you tell others thinking about coming to our office for the VIVAS LipoLite?
Oh, my advice is if you are looking for something to really jumpstart your goal to look good in your bikinis on the summer especially, and just for not just for aesthetic reasons, for good health, then this is the right place to go. And they're very friendly and very healthy products are here, organic, and they really work.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome, Dr. Colgan. Thank you.
So the question I have for you all is, are you committed to doing what it's going to take? Right? If the answer is yes, we can help you. Right? That's the bottom line. But that's the question you have to ask yourself. Right? Now, here's what the actual treatment goes through. Now, I'm going to recommend optimum recommendations. Do you guys want me to do anything less than optimum? Some people are like, I don't know, maybe I want less than optimum. Isn't that funny? It's interesting, right? But here's the optimum recommendations, right? So the first one is we use a laser light therapy. What it is a base unit like that connected to a paddle like this, and it's just laser light technology that actually stimulates the body's blood flow, the cells, the heat, to actually start bringing in more blood flow, bringing in more oxygen, bringing in more nutrients to the area. So what we do is we strap these to your feet, to your legs, wherever it is you're having the problem, turn on the machine, and you sit there for 7 minutes with them on in each spot, and then we move them around as needed to the other spots. Right? And so this is the new technology, kind of like our little ace in the hole, that actually allows your body to start bringing back that oxygen to that area that didn't have the oxygen.
Can we throw all the medicine away then?
We have a lot of people who do. You'll see that in another little video that I give you, right? So that's what it does. Is it's simply just light energy that causes the body's cells to bring in more blood, bring in more nutrients, bring in more oxygen, and the body starts healing the area, right? And that's why you saw with Leonard, or Harry, depending on what you read, right? That's why you saw with him after the first treatment, what did he do the next day? Right? No more pain. I could walk up and down the grocery store rather than using an electric cart. Right? Bruce, right? We got some more in here as well. But the second part of it is we have to detoxify your body. All right? Has anyone here ever done a detox program before? Good. How long ago? Yeah. We live in such a toxic world today, right? That our liver, its main job is not to detoxify, although today's world, guess what? That's what it does. Right? It's like your computer. Anybody ever done anything on a computer before? You click on too many buttons, and then what do you have to do? You have to wait. Why? Because the computer can't keep up, right? Anyone have that experience? Some people are like, no, not really, right? Your liver's the same way. Your liver can only do so much. And in 100 years ago, what did we have for toxins? Alcohol, cigarettes, coffee. Anything else? Dead animals, right? But for the most part, 100 years ago, we didn't really have toxins. What do we have for toxins in today's world? Oh my gosh, the chemicals in the carpet, the vinyl, the glue behind the wallpaper, the chemicals from the coffee, the plastics, the styrofoam, the medications, the drugs, the cleaning chemicals. How many people have those skull and crossbones on stuff in their house that they use for cleaning? Our world today is filled with toxins and pests. We spray it right onto our food. You know those little bugs that can live off of poop? But they can't live when this chemical touches them, and we put it on our food? Oh, but it's in small quantities. Yeah, on everything. Right? Our world today is toxic. You have to help the liver get rid of those toxins, because what happens is the liver has literally thousands of other jobs. And if it's so busy trying to keep up with all the toxins, it can't do its other jobs. Right? And so that's a big thing that we help you do, is we help get rid of those toxins that are going in your body. We do that herbally. Right? Just some of the stuff in our world that creates toxicity that most of us do every day of our lives, and we just don't think about it because that's part of our culture, that's part of what we do. Right? So this is all the stuff that creates that toxicity. Now, next thing we do is we have to give your body nutrition back. Right? It's like, let me ask you this question. I want to build a brick house, but I don't have any bricks. Do you think it's going to go up very well? No. I want to build a healthy, functioning human body, but I'm not going to give it the proper bricks. What do you think is going to happen? This is what's going to happen. Right? You can't build a brick house without bricks, and you can't build a human body without the proper nutrients. Do you think you get the proper nutrients from most of the food you generally eat? No. Right? When the way that I say it is this, is that, now, the nutrition is, we're not going to say that you have to change every food that you eat and only eat fruits and vegetables. We don't do that, right? It's not about doing that for the rest of your life, right? But if you do that while you're doing the program, right, even just for a little while to help us out for 6 weeks, you're going to see much better results. And like I said, for people who do every one of our recommendations, they all get great results. So far, we have 0 exceptions for people who do the entire program. Right? But nutrition, a lot of it comes in herbally and whole foods, meaning we're going to have you take a lot of supplements. Right? Because the supplements through herbs and natural processes have the things to help bring us those bricks back to our body so our body can actually rebuild and heal itself, just like when we cut a finger. Right? If your body wants to build a brick house but doesn't have bricks, it can't do it. And we have to help give your body the bricks. Right? So that's another component of what we do. We give you a lot of supplements and a regimen of how to take those. Now, for those of you who have diabetes, what's your name?
Art.
Art. We're going to help you with your diabetes. Right? Do you take your own blood glucose levels? Right? Good, because you're going to see those drop to levels you have not seen in 10 years. If you do what we say. Well, we'll see, Art.
So I don't have to make the pills and those.
Not if you do what we say. It happens all the time. Right? Now, that's assuming it's adult onset diabetes. You didn't have it when you were a kid? Yeah, no, yeah. Yep. So we're going to help, for those who it's applicable to, we're going to help manage the diabetes because that's part of the component of neuropathy. Right? Another thing we're going to do is we're going to put you on a whole body vibration. Remember those old machines with the belt that used to go around the waist and they'd advertise them on TV and they'd shake you? Right? It helps supposed to make you thin and now you don't see them anymore. Why? They didn't work, right? Right? This is not that machine. This is a machine that you're going to stand on, and the little thing you stand on is just going to move ever so slightly underneath your feet really quick. Right? Now here's what happens. It literally helps move the sewer system of your body. That's what it does. All right, you have this thing called the lymphatic system in your body. It's called the lymphatic system. Right? The lymphatic system's job, it's like the sewer system in the town. If the sewer system in your house were to back up in the bathroom, how functional would that bathroom be? You wouldn't want to use the bathroom, would you? Right? If the sewer system in your body backs up somewhere, what do you think happens to that part of your body? Same thing. It becomes not very functional. Most people's sewer system, when they have neuropathy, isn't working right. It's not bringing the toxins and poisons and garbage away that the cells produce. So what happens? They stay there and cause damage in the area. So when you stand on this machine, what it does, what that shaking does, is it actually helps move that sewer system of your body to help take that garbage and toxins away from the areas that you have problems with.
Hi, I'm Sally Chan, and I'm with Dr. Kogan and Sandy. And a couple of days ago, I went and tried out this Bay Area laser, the LipoLite, and to my amaze, the next day I weighed myself. I've lost 4 pounds, and according to Sandy and Dr. Kogan, I've lost a few inches from just 2 days, and today is my second day. It was just exciting. I'm just ecstatic. All I did was just come in, but I did go right into my exercise class, so I think that made a difference as well. But regardless, I went home after my exercise. I ate cereal, and boy, that pound is just rejuvenates me. And so I'm excited.
Well, that's really great.
Yeah,
that's really great. Now, and what would you recommend to other people?
I was very pessimistic about everything in the get-go, but now you got to come in and give it a try, and you will see results the next day. Give yourself a chance. So that's what I would recommend. Just give yourself a chance to see this one miracle machine. It really does work.
So I said this a bunch of times, but I like making this slide. Right? The choices that you make today are going to determine your future tomorrow. Right? If you don't make healthy choices, you're not going to have a healthy body. It's that simple. Now, anybody know who this guy is?
Einstein.
Yep, Albert Einstein. Right? He has a definition of insanity that a lot of us have heard, but not a lot of us necessarily know it came from him. Anybody want to guess what his definition of insanity was? He said, he didn't. He said, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Right? Is that not insanity? If you do the same thing over and over, but you expect a different result, you're what? Insane. That's what Albert Einstein said. Right? So let me ask you a question. How many of you did the choices you made in your lifestyle lead to the neuropathy? All of us should raise our hand on this one, right? So if you make those same exact choices, what's going to happen? It's not going to help. You have to do something different. Right? And we're going to help make it easy for you. So my question for you is this. You came here today because you wanted to find out more about neuropathy. What happens if you don't do anything?
Stay the same or get worse.
Stay the same. Is it going to stay? How many of you stayed the same over the last year? Right? Right? It's going to be getting worse, right? Now, we all know how it's been affecting our lives, right? You know, whether it's, showering or sleeping or can't do what you want or can't focus or you're constant. It affects our lives. That's why we're here. Yeah, okay, so people have pain. People have numbness. People have stuff like that all the time. But it's not until it starts affecting your life that it really becomes a problem. So what's going to happen if you don't do anything? Well, you tell me. It's going to get worse, right? Now, let me ask you this question. This is my favorite question. If you don't do anything, right, and you decide that later on you want to do something about it, do you think it's going to cost more or less to do something about it later? Exactly, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Well, maybe we'll pray that we'll die before right? We have to do something about it. I hope not. I hope someone wants, I hope it's more than that. So other options. I started off by asking this, people have been told, right, here, and it happens all the time, don't come see me anymore. There's nothing we can do. All right, so for most people, the other options aren't really anything. Right? Some of you are on probably pain medications that somewhat help, right? They make it a little bit more tolerable. But they have, anybody noticed lots of side effects from those medications they're taking? Right? If you haven't yet, you probably will. All medications have side effects. I'm not saying don't take them. I'm not saying they're not good for you. I'm saying every medication has a side effect. And does it actually get rid of? Anybody here who's taking any pain medications or any sort of medications or drugs to help with the neuropathy? Anybody here? Has it solved the problem?
No, that's why I quit.
Anybody here solve the problem? Right? So tell me, what are the other options? Right now there aren't really. Deal with it. That's what most of us do because there are nothing else.
My name is Antoinette, and I've been seeing Dr. Collingen for 2 months now. I came in because of neuropathy from my chemo treatments, and my feet and hands have improved greatly. I'm very pleased with the service I've received, and I suggest that anybody with this problem try it out.
Thank you. And what are some of the things you could do now? Like, before, you can. How much longer are you going for walks now than you were before?
Well, I can walk a little bit longer. I'm still having problems, but that's other issues.
Right. Okay. But you went from walking only 10 minutes at a time to now over 30 minutes, right?
Well, yes, I can walk about 12.
That's great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Antoinette.
My suggestion is let's do the program. So here's how the program actually works. We have an office that we set up in First Avenue and 2nd Street, or 1st Street and 2nd Avenue. I don't know, one of the two. Somewhere in the same area, right? Right downtown there on First Avenue, we've got a little office that we set up. You're going to come and see us 3 times a week for 6 weeks. All right? Each time you come in, what you're going to do is we're going to put this machine, right, on your problem area, turn it on, and move it for up to 3 times, 21 minutes, 7 minutes apiece. Most of you, after we do just this, you'll notice an immediate difference, right, from the first time. Now, what this is doing, again, remember, it starts bringing that blood, bringing that oxygen back into the area to start helping the body regrow, regenerate. And that's why, if you continue to live the exact same lifestyle, yeah, at the end of the 6 weeks, most of you, if you follow our program, will be significantly better. Right? And if you live the same lifestyle as you did before you met me today, eventually it'll probably come back. Right? But if you don't, if you make enough changes to tip that wellness disease scale up, it won't come back. It's that simple. And you can make either one because you were just in Bismarck. Right? In the future, right, say a year from now, you start having the symptoms again because you wanted to eat those Twinkies and Ho-Hos. You come up to Bismarck for a couple weeks, 3 times a week, probably only need a few more weeks, get the oxygen back in, do a little 21-day cleanse or something, get you back on the way, give you another year or two. Right? But for those people who change their lifestyle, it doesn't come back. It's that easy, and we help show you how to do that. So that's the laser light therapy that we do each time you come in for the 3 times a week that you come in. You do the whole body vibration each time you come in. All you do is stand on it, right? And it shakes. All right? That's all you do. Anyone not here able to stand for 10 minutes? Might be uncomfortable at first, might be whatever, but you can all stand, right? Got little hand holds, right? You can stand on it for 10 minutes? Yeah. Well, I'm assuming everyone else can because they walked in, but I just wanted to make sure. Right? But that's part of the program as well. You can do that. You get the NeuroChange technology. That's this right here. Right? Because really, to keep the symptoms away, to keep the body healed, you have to change the mindset, right? You have to change how you make choices. You have to change what you eat to really keep it away. And so we're gonna allow you to do this while you're in there getting the sessions done, so that it helps make it easier to choose healthier foods. I'm not saying you have to eat them all the time when you leave. I'm not saying it's completely, but this just makes it easier. Right? Let me ask you a question. If you didn't have any desire to eat sweets or desserts, wouldn't it be easier not to choose them? That's what this helps do. Right? Yeah, they taste better, but if you don't have a desire, if you're not like, right, it makes it much easier to choose it. So you get that each time you come in as well. We're going to put you all on a detoxification program. And for those of you who choose to sign up tonight, we have the sheets back here. You're going to fill out a 10-page questionnaire about all your symptoms. Right? We're going to feed that into a computer. Computer's going to spit out a customized program that's going to be for you to help you get rid of the problems that you have. Different herbs, different food program, different whatever. Now, the supplements are not optional, meaning you have to take those, right? Whatever comes back for you, you take those. But, right, the food, as much as you change following the food program we give you, and it's going to be different for all of you. Some of you may be similar, but it's going to be different for different people. The more you follow that, the more we can be confident that you're going to see great results. Right? Because like I said, everyone who follows our program completely always gets great results. Someday I may see an exception to that, but I doubt it. Because what are we doing? If you follow our entire program, we are for sure tipping that scale so that now you're moving towards wellness instead of disease. So that's the detoxification program. Those are all the supplements that you take based on that questionnaire that we give you. Right? That lasts for 5 weeks for most people. Some people 3, some people 5, some people 8. It just depends, but most people usually fall into the 5-week mark of taking a bunch of supplements. Right? How many of you take a bunch of pills anyway right now? Some of you do, most of you don't, right? But you can take supplements, right? 5 weeks, not that hard? Good. And then you're going to get weekly phone consultations with Dr. Blackwood in Bismarck, meaning that once a week we're going to set you up with a phone call. You're going to be able to chat with him, see how things are going. If you have questions, Kim in the back, everybody say hi to Kim. You probably talked to her on the phone unless you called Bismarck. She's going to be in the office actually doing the laser treatments. She's also has knowledge about the program, things like that, and she'll have access to us. So if you have any questions, concerns, well, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? She'll be there on a daily basis as well to be able to answer and help guide you through the program as well. But you actually get to speak with Dr. Blackwood once a week if you want as well, with any additional concerns or questions or comments that we can't address or handle through her. Right?
Did I understand no insurance?
No insurance, yep.
Well, you know how much the price would be?
Yep, we're going to get to that. It's a great question. All right, and then the last one is the food program. You're all going to get recommended a food program. If you do it, great, you're going to see better results. If you don't, you'll still probably see good results, but how good will be depending on the other factors and things. Right? Because that's kind of the thing that a lot of people can't do.
Hi, my name is Bill Bruder. I've been seeing Dr. Kogan for about 3 months. And primarily we came in because I had foot neuropathy from chemo, and I've experienced in a very short time about 75% improvement in the feelings in my feet. And I would highly recommend anybody that has a similar problem to come and see the doctor.
We start next Monday, July 16th. Right? You pick a time, you just come in that same time 3 times a week, right? And we do that for 6 weeks. Right? We're going to have a week at the end. Life happens. It's summer, right? You may not be able to make this day or that day or whatever. So we have a week at the end where you can make up to 3 sessions that you missed during the course of the 6 weeks.